Hi there, it's Allison, and today on Thinking Outside the Box, I am going to show you how I created these cute little flowers. They're three-dimensional, and I have surface treated them with Dragonfly Glaze. And if you watched my previous tutorial, I worked with some of Tiny Pandora's new beads kit, and I also put the Dragonfly Glaze on those, but I used these as an example in that tutorial along with a trinket dish that I made, some bicone beads, and a flower pendant. And I had overwhelming response in making videos for each of those other things. So I am bringing you today the flower video, and each day up until Friday, I will have a new tutorial for you on how I created the other items. These, believe it or not, are really easy to make, and you will just like freak when I show you how I did it. And then I went ahead and I made a pendant for my mom for Mother's Day, and it's very three-dimensional. I have not put it on a chain yet. I'm not going to drill a hole. What I'm going to do to the back of this is finish it off and put a hidden veil on the back, or I may put a veil along the top as a way to string it. But I just thought this was so cool. And it's these same flowers just arranged on a piece of clay and then cut out with a circle cutter. And I just love the color shift in these, and I know my mom is just gonna really love this. So great idea for Mother's Day. I'm going to not really show you the ways that you can use these little flowers here. I didn't, excuse me, I'm still getting over a cold, flu, whatever. It's been horrible. I did not finish off the backs of these yet. That is just the black polymer clay. But I wanted to show you that it is a little dimensional in the back. And if you wanted to use these as beads, you could always drill a hole in the middle and string it that way. You could also put a button shank on the back, and you could use it that way. And you could also use this as a clasp for a bracelet. So it's really not that big. It's, well, about 1.25 inches. So that's, very doable. So that would be a great button clasp, either with the hole through the middle or the shank put on the back. And if I could find my shanks, I would have showed you how I do that. I'm in the process of moving things over into the new studio, and I, for the life of me, have no idea what I did with them. But when I do find them, I will do a video on making shank buttons. You can also put a little crystal, like in the middle here. You could use either a chaton before you bake the clay, or after bake, you could use a flat back in there. So that would look really pretty with a crystal in the middle. But I really love this Dragonfly Glaze. I just think it's really cool stuff. And on this one, I showed you in the other tutorial, or said that I had put many coats on here. This is about, I would say, 5 coats of the Dragonfly Glaze. On this, I have learned that you can actually put the paint on thicker and it will not dry white anywhere. And I got the same effect by using 3 coats and then let it dry for 24 hours. I am going to probably put some of Teresa's Tiny Pandora's Deep Shine brush-on UV resin on this just to protect the paint. So it will be slightly shinier, but right now, look at that. The shine is incredible on this glaze. I mean, it looks like you've treated it. So I'm going to keep one of these as a test piece and kind of play around with it and rub it around and stuff because it seems pretty durable. But just from experience, I know that eventually paint can chip off and rub off, and you don't want to do that if you've created something and have it get ruined eventually, years down the line. So I'm going to go ahead and set up with the supplies that we need, and I will show you how to create these adorable flowers and how I created this pendant. And I'll be back. Okay, before I show you the supplies needed, well, this is the first supply needed, I'd like to go over the Dragonfly Glazes again and go through each one. This is the full spectrum shift, and I haven't really shown anything with this because I think maybe the batch that I got isn't quite right, because there really isn't a lot of the mica in it. And like I said before, I'm pretty sure it's a synthetic mica. The others are chocked full of it. This one is not. So I am still experimenting with this one, and I think I'm going to go ahead and order another bottle because apparently a couple people that I've talked to who do have this said that it worked pretty well for them. So I think I'm going to order another bottle of this and see if maybe I just got a defective bottle. But the bottle is really pretty, and it's supposed to have all the colors. That's the full spectrum. This is the green, gold, red shift. And that's very pretty. We're going to be working with that one today. This one is the blue, green, gold shift. And that's really pretty. We'll be working with that one as well. This one here is the violet, blue, green. And that's one of my favorites. Working with that too. This one here is the red, blue, the red, violet, blue shift. And we'll be working with this one also. This one is the gold, red, violet. And we're going to be working with that one too. So you're going to need some Dragonfly Glaze if you want to do the flowers like I did them. I mean, you can use any kind of treatment on these flowers that you want, whether it be paint, mica, you know, just different colored clays, whatever you want to do. But that's how I did it. So you're going to need that, and I'm going to zoom out. Excuse the mess. Been organizing. You're also going to need a set of round cutters, specifically the largest one in this set. This is from RJ Crafts, and it's a set of 8 cutters, but I see now that she has one even smaller than that. So it's actually a set of 9 cutters. And I used for the pendant the largest cutter, and that one is, we'll measure it from the cut, just under 2 inches. So it's a good size pendant. You know, you can make them smaller if you want. So circle cutter, you're going to need some black polymer clay. This is Primo, Sculpey Primo. My choice of clays, my favorite clay is Primo. So you're going to need that. And I actually have 2 prepared. This is number 1, is the thickest setting on my pasta machine. This is rolled out to a 3. Actually, this is the one rolled out to a 3. This is rolled out to a 3, and this is rolled out to a 4. So you'll need 2 of those. And how I made the flowers. Did I hand make each one and shape the petals? Oh no, you are going to be amazed at how simple this is, and some of you might even have this already. I found this little cutie at Hobby Lobby, and it is so easy to create flowers. So I'm going to show you. I will have links for everything you see here, minus the tiles and the table, in the description below this tutorial. All right, so let me move this stuff out of the way. And I will show you how I create the flowers. And I need a paper towel. All right, let me go ahead and zoom in a little. The first thing that you're going to do is cut your shapes. And in the pendant, I think I had 6 flowers. Yep, I had 6 flowers in the pendant. So we're going to want to take the little cutter that comes with this little mold and cut out 6 flowers. Nothing like having clay under your fingernails, but that's my life. All right, go ahead and get rid of your excess clay. And you're gonna wanna take your blade and pull these up off the tile. And that's when I like to clean the edges on them, because even a metal cutter will give you edges that you need to clean, not just 3D cutters. So you go ahead and just clean up your edges, and you can just tap them or smooth them or however you want to do it, and do that to all of them. And that's a quick process, but it's one that, you know, in the end, you don't need to do any kind of sanding or filing of your edges if you clean your edges prior to the next step. Very quick. I want to thank you all for your well wishes. I was out for the count for about 10 days and it really stunk. And my husband had it first, and my daughter has it now, and I think she's struggling harder than I was, but I give her a lot of credit because that girl gets up every day and goes to work. All right, the next step is you have your mold, and you want to put, I didn't bring my spray bottle, so that is somewhere in the mess that's still inside that used to be my craft room. But I like to go ahead and just kind of moisten the mold. You could also use a little bit of cornstarch if you wanted to. Spray a little bit of water on there. Just, you know, something to help the clay release from it. Then you take one of your little flowers that you cut out And I missed that little cleanup. You line it up on your mold the best that you can. You're just lining these petals up with the petals that are on your mold. Then you take the top and line it up, and I like to push all the edges first and then one time in the middle. I found that if I push too hard in the middle, I produced a hole. And you just take your little flower out and look at that. You have a cute little flower that you can turn into a bead or, you know, whatever you can think of. So we'll go ahead and quickly do that to the rest of them. Just line it up. Push it down on the sides and in the middle. And release from your mold. And it lines up pretty good because it's connected here, so you don't have to sit there and figure out what side goes where or any of that. And it's a pretty hardy little flower when you roll it out to a 3 on the pasta machine, the 3rd thickest setting. Oops, wrong side. It works better if you do it over here. Close it up, push the edges, and then push the side. And I mean, seriously, every time you have a perfect flower, it's kind of a no fuss thing. And I love things that are no fuss and don't have to sit there and handcraft each flower by hand, which, you know, there are people that do that and they do a beautiful job. But hey, when I can get a beautiful thing and not have to work that hard at it, that's pretty cool. All right, so see how quick that was? We got all of our flowers. Now, you can go ahead and bake these, and you can bake them right on the tile. I like to kind of push the edges down a little, fiddle with the petals. You know, you can have them any way you want them. And that's if you're going to make them as beads or, you know, a button or something like that. But I'm going to show you how I made the pendant. And to do that, I simply arrange these on another piece of clay. And you can arrange them however you want. This is just how I do it. So I start in the middle because I'm going to be using my largest cutter. So you kind of want to have an idea of where that is on your tile. So I start there, and then I just start putting my flowers around wherever I want them. And I think I like that. This one is a little torn there, so I'm going to make sure that that goes under. And maybe put this one over that. And under here. And this one I think we'll do under also. So you have your flowers the way you want them. And then you take your cutter and you see how it's going to look. Where's the best place, you know, that you want to cut it. And if you have some of the clay here, that's fine because I painted that green. So the background ended up being green. and that covers the black clay. So you don't need to worry about that. And I actually kind of like having that show. So I think this is a good place to do my cut. And I am going to use my acrylic block if I can find it. Here it is. And I just take my dirty acrylic block and put it straight down on there and make my cut. Take that off. And I like to give it a little turn and a little wiggle, just to make sure that that is released from the rest of the clay. Pull that up and then pull up your excess. And you can go ahead and clean your edges now, or you can clean after bake. I like to clean after bake if I'm not pulling that off my tile. I don't want to distort the circle, so I'm going to leave this on the tile. And at this point, you can look around and you can pick a cat hair off of there. I'm sure a lot of you can relate. I don't even have a cat in my studio, but yep, still cat hairs, and I will always have them. So I like to go ahead and manipulate a little at this point and put the petals where I want them. If I want to curve them up a little, push them down a little. All that's going to stick to that bottom clay, but you still, you know, it's how you want it to look. So you want to leave it three-dimensional. You don't want to push it flat, but you do also want to, you know, arrange it the way that you want. So I think that looks good. And at this point, you could put a hole in it if you want. I'm not going to do that because I am going to actually finish off the back and add a bail to the back. So what you would do at this point is you would put this in the oven for primo. You would bake at 275, and I am going to bake this for 1 hour. And right now what I'm doing is just kind of smoothing out any kind of imperfections. I see a couple places that, but other than that, it looks good. So I'm gonna put this in the oven at 275 for 1 hour because this is Sculpey Primo. And I don't think I'm gonna be back. I think what I'm gonna do is just show you. I mean, it's just a matter of you at this point after you bake it, you're going to want to decorate it however you want to do. And if you want to use the Dragonfly Glazes, you know, that's awesome. Go ahead and use them. Or, I mean, you can use anything. At this point, you can even get mice. Sorry about that. I got a spam phone call, and it always disrupts my recordings, even if I don't answer it. So let me make sure I'm actually recording. I am. At this point, you can decorate this however you want. If you want to do mica on there, you can before you bake. If you want to, you know, use totally different paints, that's up to you. I just wanted to show you how I created these flowers and how simple it was to create these flowers. And you can make a pretty pendant. Or you can make a bunch of buttons or cabochons. You can use them in beaded embroidery. You can put a hole in the middle. You can put a shank backing on the back. Just let your imagination go wild, you know. I am going to be bringing 3 more videos to you this week, and they will probably be short and sweet, just like these, because I'm going to go over each thing separately rather putting it in one whole video. So if people didn't want to see how I make the flowers, they don't have to watch that process. So I hope that you found this helpful, and I hope that you enjoyed. And if you like my videos, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I appreciate you all so much, And I will see you tomorrow. We will be creating these tomorrow. That's the flower cabochon pendant, however you want to use it. And I will show you how I created that tomorrow. So until then, bye for now.